America.
Hello, America. Welcome to Angel and the Wiz. This is my first chemo-free week.
Your first chemo-free week.
Right. Well, I look like I'm dying, don't I?
America will probably agree this is the worst we've seen you look throughout the whole thing.
Isn't it funny that that would happen
But
like
maybe
that?
I think you're going through withdrawals.
Yeah, because they give you steroids and stuff. You know, in the chemo.
Oh, I didn't know they give you steroids.
Yeah, yeah. My patience is shot. I drop something on the ground. You know, I pick up a gun. I start killing things. You know, I mean, it's really it's so.
You're a Republican.
I'm a, very good.
Chalk one up for Angel this week.
One for the girl. Okay. Now, this week. Oh, let me just tell them quick. We have this is a 25-minute show.
Okay.
Because we have Susie Blunderful at the dump is going to be with us for the next 4 weeks. These are segments that have never been seen. You've never seen these before because I never used them before. I only use the front part. Okay. And so this is Susie 2 is this week. Susie 3 is next week, and then we have 4 and 5 in the weeks to come. And I got a really cool. Now listen.
Okay.
You know how I feel about certain people who shall go nameless, about how they have no respect for the country and they run around and apologize to me. I got an email from my Aunt Pat who watches the show in New York.
Pat.
Hello, Aunt Pat. That surprised the heck out of me. And it's really poignant. And we take turns going back and forth whenever it starts this week or next week. Because I know you have something to talk about.
I do.
Okay. But, and it makes it's the other side to the apology tour. It's the other side to those people that just don't think much of America. And it's illuminating. It's very
Speaking of that, so...
Speaking of...
I just, in, I think, 9 days, read the book Game Change. Okay? And I know we had talked about it when, I think
Did you watch Undefeated?
No, not yet. Yeah. But just wait, you already are full, have you read the book?
No.
No, okay. So, we had talked about it when I think HBO did the movie Game Change, which was based on just the McCain-Palin portion of the book.
Yeah, just a little piece of it.
And that portion of the book is only 3 chapters.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they made the whole movie about it.
Right. Well, because if you saw the whole thickness of the book, it would be like a 52-week miniseries.
Right.
And I'll be honest, most of the book revolves around the Obama and Clinton campaign part. Like the first part of it is just the Democrats leading up to
like their primaries.
Yeah, their primaries. And then the second part is the Republican primaries.
Okay.
And then part 3 is there's
the
5
attack
parts.
on Sarah.
No, let me tell you. They didn't attack her as much as you thought they would.
Well, the movie, that's all they did.
In the movie, they probably did.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the movie, but I can tell you that I came in with the expectation of reading this book that they were going to glorify Obama.
Right.
They did not.
Okay.
That they were going to glorify Clinton to some respect, but not as much as Obama because
Obama
because of not because of the guy, but because she didn't win.
Right.
Okay. They did not.
Okay.
I thought they were going to completely insult the Republicans.
Right.
They did not.
Okay.
It was no holds bar. Everybody got equal amounts of whatever. And I thought that the way that they portrayed Palin was probably the most honest portrayal in that book as I thought possible, explaining what happened to her during the campaign. Because I know that when we were talking about it in the past, that I had made mention of she wasn't smart, and I was wrong for making those comments, and I admit that after reading this book because I realized that there was a lot more backstory that went on, and I think that you would quite enjoy reading that book, the whole book,
really, because
it really the only part that is any way near glorifying Obama is like the last chapter,
right? Which I don't have to read.
Which is that chapter. I mean, we know how the story ends, and that chapter is.
Don't we?
Well, and that chapter is not even about the election.
Right. They
mention nothing about the election. They mention nothing about victory speeches except when the primaries took place.
Right.
The last chapter is about Obama picking Clinton as his Secretary of State.
Right.
That's it. Like,
Well,
I truly, as I was reading this book and
Right.
reading, I mean, they have things how AIDS of everybody was calling their leader, whoever they were working for, horrible names.
Right.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, I think you would enjoy it.
Well, and then may I share with you, at some point, watch The Undefeated.
I will. That's gonna
I have
be-
given it to you almost a year ago.
Yes. Well, that's my goal. I'm still watching my niece and nephew.
Oh, how's that going?
I'm still watching. I'm still
Oh
watching,
boy, does that tell us a lot.
I'm still watching my niece and nephew,
Right.
and when I get done with them at like 7:00 at night,
Right.
the mental state that I know I need to be in to watch
Right.
a movie like Undefeated objectively
Right.
is not there.
Not there.
I could read a book because I can put it down after
you have
10
control.
minutes, 20 minutes. But when you're watching a movie, it's not there.
Oh,
so,
well, this is not really a movie per se. Feel free that you could. This is the kind of thing you could go in and out of
But
easy.
I don't like doing that.
Oh, okay.
I don't like
Good
doing
for you.
that.
Me either. I like
I
watching
need
a
to
film.
sit and watch the whole thing. I
That's
feel
right.
if I don't do that, if I don't, especially a movie, a
Right.
documentary like that, if I don't watch the whole thing, I think I'm
Right.
gonna miss something.
So, how's things going?
With my niece and nephew?
Yes. Are you continuing your parenting skills?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're going well. My nephew, when he's by himself, is fine, and I think I
Okay.
mentioned that before. He's
Yes.
fine. When my niece comes along, it's a little chaotic. I actually had a conversation with my brother and sister-in-law mentioning that my sister and brother-in-law mentioning that I believe my nephew needs to be tested for some attention deficit problems.
Okay. He's a little boy.
He's 7.
But isn't that expected?
There,
We all had it.
there's yes and no. It was probably the clearest to me that there was problems was when we were standing in line. I had to watch them today for a couple hours while my sister and brother-in-law did some
Right.
business things.
Right.
And we were in line at a store. I was not the only female there with young children.
Right.
Okay? However, the ones I had
Right.
were the most chaotic.
Right.
They wouldn't stand still, they wouldn't stop. They would run into and hide into the clothes racks after I told them multiple times not to.
That's because they never had their ass kicked.
Well, I almost kicked it.
I mean, I don't mean it quite like that, but
right,
there's a
but
difference
I
between
think that-
discipline and abuse.
Right, but I think that even then when you watch him, you can tell in his...
That's because when they were young and they had a chance to smack them once on the bottom and teach them, they missed the opportunity.
Maybe, I don't know. But
Wouldn't be surprised.
there is something not firing correctly in his brain.
I
You
mean-
can see he gets this glazed look over his face. I have a
Loses
video.
interest.
Yeah, I have not even maybe, I don't know. I have a video of him. The song by Katy Perry called "Firework" came on the radio, and we pulled into a parking lot, and he was singing along, and I thought it was cute. And so we couldn't leave the car until it was done because he really likes the song. So I was
Okay.
videotaping him
Okay.
with my phone, and it's on YouTube.
Okay.
And just watch him in that video, and he's like, like it's.
Where is it on YouTube?
I will tell you.
Don't you want them to see
I
it?
want them to know. We'll post it down below how to
Okay.
access it, or we can upload
Okay,
it.
no,
or
that's
put on
okay.
the- yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay, just make sure because and
Then there's
wait a-
another video of my cats out there too.
Okay,
a couple
that's about
videos.
8:33. So we
Oh.
just put 8:33.
He's done with me talking.
No, I'm not. I just want to write 8:33, so I know that. And what's the young man's name?
My nephew?
Yeah.
I will not disclose the information.
Okay.
I'm sorry, America.
Nephew is good enough.
My nephew, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's just as well. You probably don't want to. I
Yeah,
don't want to get
Angel's
sued.
nephew.
Angel's nephew. Okay, that's good. So 8:33.
Yeah, I'm very cautious
And if,
of that.
now we have to keep in mind. Do you know how long it runs?
A minute
Oh no, we're
30.
just going to put this.
Yeah,
we're going to put
we'll
the.
put the
Okay,
website up.
okay, and
And then maybe in a couple
what's
of
the
weeks
cat
when
one?
we're done with the cat one is 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, and we'll put that up here.
I
too.
was there. I was playing with my cats. We got a new toy.
Okay.
And it was just the perfect scene. I had one cat on one side, one on the other, and one watching, and so I was flipping this back and forth, and the other one's like watching a tennis match, and so I made this little game in my head, and then I had one laying behind me, and I'd be like, oh, and here's what the judges think, and I'd pan over, and he's half asleep, like totally uninterested in what was going on. I'll show it to you later,
Okay.
because I still have it on my phone.
Okay,
but
very
it's
good.
also on YouTube. We'll see it though.
Okay, so and that's a good way to do it. And you know what I do when we do that? I put it here, and then in the description on YouTube, I put it so they can cut and paste it.
Cool.
You know, so that works out to us. This way we don't have to worry about inserting a special link, because this is, you can't click. This is a video. You can't click on a video. It doesn't work like that.
You're awesome.
Wow,
so
wow.
anyway, I think you'd like the book Game Change.
Well, you
I
know,
really think you would.
It sounds like the movie was done in a completely attack mode, because they were afraid that she was going to be named vice president. And
I will tell you, probably the most insulting couple of comments that they said about Palin in there, and there was a couple of McCain's aides had made mention, like, we don't know if this woman would be fit to be president.
Right. Steve Smith, that guy.
Then, but they never really mentioned names about the aides.
Yeah, but we know who it is.
And then they said that Obama was in Ohio or something doing a town hall meeting with a bunch of undecided voters, and one of the voters had made question about something, and the voter was clearly Republican and was going to vote, was believed to vote Republican, and Obama had said, why are you, I thought this was a town hall meeting for undecided. And that voter was quoted as saying something like, well, if something happens to McCain, Palin would be president.
Yeah, and she'd be a better president than both of them.
Well, I will tell you that, you know, possibly, I don't know. I'm not going to make any more judgments about her.
You watch Undefeated, and you will agree with me.
Well, I'm not going to make any more judgments
about her.
Not agree with me.
Yeah, good for you.
Because based on what I had read in that book, that she was not accurately portrayed in the media. The McCain's choice to pick her, you know, whatever the reason was that they did it, but I think they did it too quickly. They threw her into the wolves. She wasn't adequately prepared.
And then they didn't let her be herself. They tried to control her. They
Which
wouldn't
was
let. She
the
wanted.
deal, though, because that was the deal. If you read in the book, that was the deal when she was picked.
That's what we're told now was the deal.
That it was said something like you know, we know that this is how they said. We know that you don't have the same beliefs as McCain. However, if you accept as his running mate, you will have to support him. Well, don't have to believe in what he does, but you are required to support him. And there is much fuss about it.
But he made decisions that were horrible that she didn't want to go along with, that she went along with, and that's why the guy lost. And that's unfortunate. But I would share with you.
But I think you would like the book, and if you don't, and Palin is only in 3 chapters, and I think that it's definitely shed some light on how she was treated or mistreated throughout the whole thing. And I feel sorry. Would I like to see her try and do something on her own? Absolutely, on her own terms, without, you know, but I don't know.
I would, you know what I would like to see? I would like to see Romney pick her as VP and turn her loose, because you see, he has he has no spark.
Tell you, he was no bueno in that book. They did not like him.
Well, you know, but he's a regular, normal guy. Of course, they could never identify with somebody like that. He's a businessman, a successful businessman.
The Democrat guy who cheated on, was that the Democrat, the one who cheated on
his wife
Edwards?
And had a kid?
John Edwards.
John Edwards.
Yeah, he was another one that didn't treat well. Like, you know, everybody got badmouthed quite a bit. Palin probably got the least amount of it, just like incessant name calling, as they did with the other. And she also wasn't in as many chapters. But Romney and Edwards were like, holy cow.
You know, I would just say my observation would be...
It's a good book, though. I recommend reading it, Game Change.
I would like to see Romney pick Sarah Palin as his running mate, because
I don't think
she has everything.
As a running mate.
I don't know. She can stand on her own. I wish she was president. I wish she was running for president. This would be very exciting.
When did your support for Palin begin? Was it when she was chosen?
I had never heard of her before.
Okay.
First time I heard her speak.
So I was sold. I think that I will tell you about the first time you heard her speak. It was scripted by somebody else for her. But I think that
and every time since, even when she spoke on her own, she was better.
Right, but I think that you really should read that book, the book, and the parts about Palin, because I'm sure that there are things that are in there, and you'll probably say that they're lies, but I don't think that as much of it is. is Lies. I think you would enjoy it. Maybe I'll just get it for you.
Well, whatever. Watch The Undefeated. You'll learn a lot more about Palin.
I will watch
from
Undefeated.
herself and from other people who know her.
I will watch Undefeated. You read Game Change.
Yeah, but you get to watch a 90-minute movie. I'm stuck reading a whole book.
I
you know
read
what that's
it in
like?
8 days.
Yeah, 8 days. God, that's a lifetime.
You're going to come home from work, and you're going to pick it up, and you're going to be like, oh my God, and you're going to have a hard time putting it down.
You know my
I would
problem
fall
is,
asleep reading that book at night.
You know my problem with reading these days is? My eyes.
Get glasses.
I got glasses. Look, I got glasses. I'm going to use glasses when we read the Tara Pin Drop thing. But I just...
I'll get the big print version.
Yeah, that's what it takes. Look at the sign. Look, I had to print this. These are really good. These are really beautiful. And you know what they are? They show the real America that we haven't heard about for the past 3 years.
The real America in the Midwest that's
No.
burning.
The real America. The real America. This is over like 30, 40 years, this stuff.
Okay.
Where are we at?
Niece and nephew, they're good.
Okay, good. How's the guy?
He's good.
Okay.
Things are good.
Just checking. You want to try one of these?
Sure.
Okay, listen, we're going to take turns. This is an email I got from my Aunt Pat. Hello, Aunt Pat. Okay,
Hey,
and
Aunt Pat.
I'll let you go first. Okay, you do one, then I'll do one. This is the foreword. Once upon a time, when our politicians tend to apologize for our country's prior actions, here's a refresher on how some of our former patriots handled negative comments about our country, and that's where it ends. You could have heard a pin drop.
Okay, JFK Secretary of State Dean Rusk was in France in the early 60s when de Gaulle decided to pull out of NATO. De Gaulle said he wanted all U.S. military out of France as soon as possible. Rusk responded, "Does that include those who are buried here?" De Gaulle did not respond. You could have heard a pin drop.
Because they gave their lives to France.
Right. I've been there.
Really?
To the Normandy beaches.
Whoa.
And I think I've mentioned this before too, on the show. I will tell you that it was a very eerie feeling.
I bet.
Not scared. It was like you felt as you walked along and there's the graves and you know that stuff took place. You could feel it, and you can feel that you were not alone. Wow. That there was still some unrest. It was very... It's a feeling that I don't know that I would necessarily want to feel again.
Okay. This is going to be yours. It was
Okay.
a conference. Okay, this is mine. When in England, at a fairly large conference, Colin Powell was asked by... Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Was asked by the Archbishop of Canterbury if our plans for Iraq were just an example of empire building by George Bush. He answered by saying, "Over the years, the United States has sent many of its fine young men and women into great peril to fight for freedom beyond our borders. The only amount of land we have ever asked for in return is enough to bury those that did not come back."
There was a conference in France where a number of international engineers were taking part, including French and American. During a break, one of the French engineers came back into the room saying, "Have you heard the latest dumb stunt Bush has done? He sent an aircraft carrier to Indonesia to help the tsunami victims. What does he intend to do? Bomb them?" A Boeing engineer stood up and replied quietly, "Our carriers have 3 hospitals on board that can treat several hundred people. They are nuclear powered and can supply emergency electrical power to shore facilities. They have 3 cafeterias with the capacity to feed 3,000 people 3 meals a day. They can produce several thousand gallons of fresh water from seawater each day, and they carry half a dozen helicopters for use in transporting victims and injured to and from their flight deck. We have 11 such ships. How many does France have?"
And you could hear a pin drop. Okay, here's another. Now see, the point that we're trying to make is this is where people come for help. They have always come here. There's no fences to keep our people in. They try to get in. People want to be here. Okay, they want to become Americans. They want to make money. They want to get rich and retire. They all want to be Donald Trump or some famous celebrity because this is a good country. And that's what it should be treated like. Okay, here's the next one. A U.S. Navy, this is nice too. A U.S. Navy admiral was attending a naval conference that included admirals from the U.S., English, Canadian, Australian, and French navies. At a cocktail reception, he found himself standing with a large group of officers that included personnel from most of those countries. Everyone was chatting away in English as they sipped their drinks, but a French admiral suddenly complained that whereas Europeans learn many languages, Americans learn only English. He then asked, "Why is that? We always have to speak English in these conferences rather than speaking French." Without hesitating, the American admiral replied, "Maybe it's because the Brits, Canadians, Aussies, and Americans arranged it so you wouldn't have to speak German." Ooh, that hurts. That left a mark.
Robert Whitting, an elderly gentleman of 83, arrived in Paris by plane. At French customs, he took a few minutes to locate his passport in his carry-on. "You have been to France before, monsieur?" the customs officer asked sarcastically. Mr. Whitting admitted that he had been to France previously. "Then you should know enough to have your passport ready," the American said. "The last time I was here, I didn't have to show it." "Impossible. Americans always have to show their passports on arrival in France." The American senior gave the Frenchman a long, hard look. Then he quietly explained. "Well, when I came ashore at Omaha Beach on D-Day in 1944 to help liberate this country, I couldn't find a single Frenchman to show a passport to."
And that's back to that Normandy Beach, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, so there's nothing wrong with loving America. America is a great country. It really is a great country. Because so we have a couple minutes left over. It almost made me cry, those things. You know, I mean, and it is a great country, and people come, and that's why I get upset when people when they start the race wars and the back and forth about being rich and everything else like that. I want to be rich. Everybody wants to be rich. Who don't want to be rich? You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you don't have to work. You get to retire. You get to go boating. You get to do the things that you want and all other stuff. You know what's the deal?
They say that the number, the amount of money that is considered that makes you happy is $70,000. If you make $70,000 a year, then you're considered happy.
Comfortable?
Yeah.
Wow. $70K a year. That's a lot.
People who make less than that.
The government takes how much of that? Isn't that sad?
I don't know.
Okay.
But when they say that people that make less than $70,000 always have these wishes and hopes and kind of are frustrated because they don't always have enough money to get it, and those that have more than $70,000 as their salary, that seem to go to waste, and then people are asking them for money. Well, it seems like it's just that 70,000 is like the happy point.
Well, and whether it is or not, and you know what I mean, we'll have to see, because I don't like anybody deciding for me. Because I will share with you, I make
average
25% of what you make. And I'll bet you I'm just as happy as you are.
I'm sure you are just as
because
happy.
happiness, it can't be predicated on money. But it's nice to have money. I mean, I would love to be rich too. But I already have a relationship with God, so I'm not looking to get the same things from the money. What do I want to get from the money? I want to get a car. Maybe I don't want to have to go to work. I like sitting around. You know what I mean? That's all I want from it. But, but that's neither here nor there. Well, in a minute from now, we're going to go join Susie Blundeful at the dump. Now, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, I just want to share with you that in East Hampton, Occupy Wall Street, go to the East Hampton dump. That's where the 1% live. The 1% live on the in East Hampton on the south shore of Long Island. And let me tell you, don't try and go occupy there, because these people, they might live in New York, and they don't care what you.
I'm not one of those
people.
I'm
saying these people that they don't care. You can go to New York and you can go on that park and all that stuff, but you Occupy people, you better not show up in East Hampton, because they ain't going to respond to you the same way they did in New York. New York, they got Bloomberg there, sucking up to everybody and telling them,
Is Occupy Wall Street still going on?
hard to tell. It says George Soros still paying him. We don't know.
Okay.
All I know is you can't have a protest when you're being paid to protest. That ain't right.
We know.
Okay, we don't know. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, until we see you next time, same bat channel, same bat time. This is Angel and the Wiz.
Do something good every day and volunteer at your local animal shelter.
That's right. And now, Susie Blunderful.
That's what the Hamptons is all about. Really, a chic store. And this is a very exciting thing. We have to go over here right away because I have an empty kitchen. And Dave, this is really something I could use. Hold on one second. What's your name?
John Cawley.
And where did you get this table?
Nathan's.
Nathan's in New York?
No, Oceanside.
Oh, but that's a hot dog place, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I take this home, will you supply hot dogs to go with it?
No, you owe me $599 if you take that home.
Oh, well, then I'll wait till you leave because when you brought it here. Now, let's sit down. Here, sit down. Sit down. What's your name?
John.
John, what? Come down and sit down. Now, have you used this table at your house? Come on over here.
Sure, it used to be in our living room.
I beg your pardon?
It used to be in our living room.
It did.
Yeah.
And are you getting a new table? Are you renting out your house for the summer?
Oh, no. We live there permanently now.
Oh, well, I thought maybe you were putting in new furniture for the summer people.
No.
No. Is that a new T-shirt you're wearing?
Sure is.
Well, let's take a look at this, Dave.
Right from San Diego, California.
That's a good T-shirt. I think you should leave that here and take the table back.
No. This is my wife's T-shirt. You'd have to.
Unisex dressing.
Yeah. You'd have to get it from her if you want it.
Okay. So you brought this table all the way from where?
Oceanside.
And you brought just because you heard that this was the place to bring old stuff.
Yeah, this was the place. This was the hottest spot in town.
Did you think you'd get coverage because you heard the Hamptons were so chic that if you brought your furniture here, it would definitely be picked up and somebody famous would take it?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Well, who are you hoping might pick this up?
Oh, Paul Simon, Billy Joel. Paul Simon, Billy Joel, you know, any famous artist.
Yeah, Billy
This is a
Joel
collector's
was down
item.
here just 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we just saw him, but we couldn't interview him because he didn't want us to know. He doesn't want anybody to know that he comes here. He's been buying Christy some of her clothing here, and you know, he doesn't want anyone to know this is the hot spot to be. But we found out about it. So, I think this is really nice, Dave. I think it would look good in your place. You know, nice seats, heart shape. If you go out on a date. You don't go out too often on dates, but, you know, sort of suggestive of a little romance, maybe candlelight dinner. What do you say?
I know, then I have to buy all new furniture to upgrade to this standard, Susie.
Well, okay, well, you enjoy the summer.
Okay.
All right, and you can watch this tonight on Channel 27. We're going to be on with, you know, what's happening in the Hamptons. Okay? All right. Oh, before you leave, you came, I'd like to interview these two beautiful women at the dump. Now, this is a place to meet women, Dave. What's your name?
Andrea.